Hello, this is Waterlily716 or Sarah, and today I wanted to film a video with an addendum to the original Curly Girl method video that I made. And this video is now 2 years old. I've learned a little bit more about how sulfates and silicones interact, so I just wanted to post an addendum to this video because in that video I talked about them in a very black and white way that isn't very much true. It's according to my current knowledge. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and jump in. And in that video I used shampoos and sulfates kind of anonymously, which perhaps wasn't the best idea because they aren't really necessarily the same thing. When I first started learning about curly hair and researching on the hair boards, I got the impression that the only way to remove silicones was by using sulfates and that any other cleansers wouldn't work on silicones. Then I looked at some other articles and I was like, oh, I guess some of the lighter silicones can actually be removed with the gentle cleansers. But then after actually researching the topic better and asking for like some personal experience and stuff on the boards, I realized no, it's not actually true. And any gentle cleanser like cocoa betaine, cocoamidol propylbetaine, or any of those cleansers can actually remove any silicone. So any silicone can be removed by that. In other words, you can use sulfate-free shampoo and cone products in the same regimen and you will not end up with buildup, which I think is not how I painted it in my video, which is why I felt like I needed to do this addendum video. Now, I still think that a no shampoo routine is more moisturizing than using one with a sulfate-free shampoo. But one thing that this means is you don't have to start over completely. If you start out the Curly Girl method, you use a couple products you thought were Curly Girl approved, but they're actually not. You don't need to use the sulfate shampoo and strip your hair completely to restart. You can just use a sulfate-free shampoo, which is probably a lot less drying, and pretty much continue along at the same more or less moisture level in your hair. And then I wanted to also redefine modified CG versus strict CG, because in the video I believe I phrased it as breaking some of the rules but not breaking the no sulfates, no silicones rule. Now, I don't think that's really true, and I think the definition of mod CG, at least in the boards, I think, don't like hate me if this isn't your definition, but I think the definition of mod CG is more cutting out sulfates from your routine, but perhaps still using sulfate-free shampoo and maybe using occasionally or all the time some products with silicones. And also going into that, it still includes sometimes using like a heat appliance on your hair, which isn't part of the Curly Girl, what I consider to be the strict Curly Girl method. And to be a strict CGer, I consider it absolutely no shampoos of any kind, absolutely no silicones or waxes in your products, and absolutely no heat styling. Usually no chemical messing with your hair. That's what I consider the difference to be. I don't necessarily say this in the video, but I think it implies it. I think it implies that the Curly Girl method is the best method that's going to work for every head of curls, every head of waves and kinks, and that it's like the best. And this, it just isn't necessarily true. The Curly Girl method, I think, works for a vast majority of people with curly to kinky hair. I've seen a lot of people and heard a lot of stories about success with it, but I think that for certain types of hair that falls under the curl spectrum, if you will, it doesn't work as well for everyone. I don't know, I've just sort of gotten the impression that it doesn't always work as well for people with wavy hair, because wavy haired people tend to have a bit more oily scalps. And also for people that have really easily weighed down hair, maybe the CG method can put too much moisture in your hair and you need a cleansing like sulfate-free cleanser to remove some moisture but not too much. For people with super oily scalps, your scalp should normalize through the adjustment period of the Curly Girl method. Your scalp should realize that you're no longer removing so much oil, so it needs to produce less. But maybe this doesn't happen for some people. I don't know. Again, although the Curly Girl method doesn't necessarily work for everyone, I want to emphasize that it has the adjustment period and that your hair can be a little wonky during this period. Now, there is no exact time. People always want to know, how long does it take? How long is it going to take? It's not an exact process. It's a gradual process of your hair regaining moisture and health. Like, some people try the curly girl method and instantly their hair looks better because their hair is already moisturized, but maybe the products work better in their hair. So sometimes it's anywhere from like no time to 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, maybe 6. It's an adjustment period your hair has to go through to the new routine. So you probably want to try it for a little bit before you knock it, because the next thing I want to say is that silicones aren't necessarily unhealthy. I know whenever I explain silicones, I usually explain this way, but I just want to say it again because I know I always talk about things being silicone free, and I just like silicone free products, but I want to emphasize that silicones are not necessarily unhealthy for your hair. They just aren't particularly natural, and they don't really add health to your hair. They don't add moisture, which is usually what I'm aiming at putting in my hair. But silicones do provide sort of a conditioning effect, like a different conditioning look for your hair, because they smooth down the strand, they make it look glossier. They can cover up damage, and they can help protect from a lot of heat damage. But on the other side of things, the reason why I avoid them and why people that follow the curly girl method more strictly generally avoid them is because silicones do build up in your hair if you're not going to regularly use a cleanser, if you're just conditioner washing. So, I mean, if you are cleansing on a weekly basis with a non-sulfate cleanser and you like silicone products, you like the way that some of them work in your hair, then I would say that you can go ahead and use those products. Like, there was some different opinions in the Curl Talk forum specifically, which is where I gained all my knowledge, and at that time there were probably people that thought that you needed sulfates to remove silicones. But now, like, the research and articles have confirmed that you don't actually need sulfates to remove silicones. So that's why I'm making this video, because I want to correct that falsehood that's now in that video. Oh, and another thing I want to say is that a lot of products get reformulated. So, and this is only going to jump to all my, like, product review, like, host of videos. Just that if I recommend a video and I say it's curly girl approved in the video, I say it's silicone free in the video, it was at the time that I made that video with that bottle of product. But look at the date of the video. If the video is more than 6 months old, maybe even less, you want to be really careful, and you want to always be able to read the ingredients and figure out if something is silicone free or curly girl approved for yourself. And I have a video on that explains better how to do that that I'll hopefully put below, but I just want to emphasize that I have a lot of videos where I say things, products are a certain way, and I don't really have time or even keep up with these products necessarily when they're reformulated. So just take my older videos with a grain of salt as far as to curly girl product recommendations. And lastly, just to sum up this video, I still use the curly girl method. I've been using it forever, and I still prefer to use silicone-free products, and I like sulfate-free cleansers, but I just mainly conditioner and wash all the time. I do that as my day-to-day cleansing thing. I conditioner wash every other day, and I probably end up using a sulfate-free cleanser like once a month, or if I happen to get my hair styled by a stylist that uses something, or if I am trying out products that aren't as curly girl approved as I would like them to be, then I'm going to cleanse that out of my hair. Bottom line, if you are holding back from trying products with silicones in them, but you're using a sulfate-free shampoo, then you don't need to hold back anymore. And I just wanted to correct that, because I think I've continually video, and I think my advice for a period of time, whenever anyone asked me that question, was that you can only remove silicones with sulfates, and that's not true. So yeah, I just wanted to correct that. I hope you guys find this video helpful. I know it's kind of confusing, and the thing about the internet is that there's lots of different information that goes around, and it changes as ingredients change in products. So, but yeah, thanks you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to add to this discussion about silicones and sulfates and solubility and cleansing and all that jazz for curly hair, please post a comment below. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!